Welcome back to The Remote Life. My name is Han Talbot, also known as Han Meets World, and today we'll be chatting with Sally Bunnell. Originally from the US, Sally is the founder of NaviSavi, an app where you can upload your travel content and get paid for every piece that is approved. In this episode, we talk about NaviSavi and who can post, working with investors as a remote business owner, and some helpful things to know when running a remote business. So grab a coffee, a tea, or something stronger, and let's get started. And we're live on the Remote Life podcast. Sally, welcome. How are you?
Hello. I'm good, as always.
You're just
having a good time.
Yeah. Where are you tuning in live today?
Well, that's a fun question. I am in Rotterdam, of all places. Not expecting it all this place on my journey, but I'm here and I've had such a fun time. I keep extending my stay. So now I came in after Tomorrowland. I came here from Brussels and I had a friend that lived here. And then, I've just been having a good time and it's been over a week now.
Yeah.
Came last Thursday.
What I absolutely love about it is I'm always like, where the heck is Sally today? Like, she's in Tomorrowland. She's in, where were you before that? Like, you were in London at one point, and then obviously we saw each other in Dubrovnik not that long ago. Like, you're just
in Stockholm, then in Ibiza. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't jealous at all. You're just like, the world is your oyster right now, and it's amazing. But yeah, welcome.
It is. It's not going to stop, especially after the pandemic. I'm like, all hell broke loose. So, although I did pretty much travel all of 2021, but
no, world is your oyster. Just go for it. But yeah, do you know what? Connect the dots for us, Sally. Tell us about your remote life journey so far and a bit more about NaviSavi.
Oh, remote life journey. Well, technically, I've kind of been I was kind of a digital nomad back in the day when I was in my previous life of working in a record label. About every year, I think when I did my taxes, I did the calculation and I was on the road 9 months every year for my previous role at a record label. So I've always been working by the pool and work hard, play hard kind of lifestyle. I thought I would outgrow that in the last decade or so. And that it's just so in my brain of like how I operate that I can sit down and knock out a week's worth of work in like a day and a half. Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of how I operate. But, it's also a labor of love. And when you love what you do, you really don't work a day in your life. I'm always checking email or I'm always, on a Saturday writing and recording and doing things. So I guess on this previous kind of journey, I actually gave up my New York City apartment. Officially, I moved out in the start of 2021. And I became pretty much a full-time digital nomad at that point and was traveling with the Wi-Fi tribe at that time. And, I was like, Colombia, Central America, you name it. And so I pretty much traveled all of 2021. And then this year I actually went home and kind of sat still after the holidays. And I usually say sitting back home has the expiration date of milk. And it was way overdue. It was like milk that sat on, at Walmart on the shelf before you put it in the refrigerator. So it was pretty much, I sat there for like 3 or 4 months. And my home base technically is my parents' house in the middle of Nebraska, which is like 700 people and 5 hours from a major airport. When I say I'm going home, it's like, there's no McDonald's. I've never had a pizza delivered to my house. Like there is one gas station, like it's small.
Wow.
So, when I did a few conferences throughout this year with NaviSavi. It was at the Travel and Adventure Show in Chicago and then joined Women in Travel Summit I was all over. I went basically from Chicago to New Orleans to South by Southwest to New York City. Went home for a hot moment. And then at that point was kind of the beginning of my next chapter of travel, which was I was already booked to go to TravelCon in Memphis. And we got the news that we had won the workplace culture conference in Dubrovnik. So I found that out about 2 days before I was supposed to take off for TravelCon. So I was like, holy shit, I need to organize to be gone now for a bit.
Yeah.
So I rearranged my life within 2 days, flew to TravelCon, flew from Memphis directly to Croatia, where I met up with you. And then was in Croatia for like 3 weeks. I kept going to the next conference and, just having a good time. And then I was like, I'm already over here. What's it going to hurt? So, so I jumped to Ibiza. Then I went to Marbella to T-Bex. And then I went to Amsterdam for another tech conference in Stockholm just for midsummer and a little bit of, I had an Airbnb. You couldn't have an Airbnb experience more authentic than I had in Swedish midsummer. So I was like, that's a must do. Then I flew to London for investor meetings, back to Ibiza, Brussels for Tomorrowland. Now I'm in Netherlands, and where to next? I haven't booked it yet. So the hotel's till tomorrow. So.
That's amazing. Oh my God. So tell us about NaviSavi though. And obviously you've had some amazing news recently. So go for it. Tell us.
Yeah. I always say when God opens a door, you didn't have to kick it in. And that's kind of what's been happening to us lately. And so we got approached by Meta and started June out of nowhere, just through LinkedIn. And they were looking for native video apps in which, had content that they could share directly to their new Facebook Reels that they were going to be rolling out. So we've been working with Meta for about the last 6 to 8 weeks, getting kind of the integration in, and then we're actually having an attribution link in which everything will then link back to NaviSavi to download or to go to the app. So that will be coming out in the next week or so, in which we'll really be doing a huge push for all our NaviSavi users. It's excellent because now they can come to NaviSavi first, upload their original content, unedited, and then they can share directly from our platform to any of Meta's direct, which would be Facebook Reels, Stories, Instagram Reels, and Stories as well. So, and then if we have, we already have around 30,000 pieces of content on NaviSavi, in which we're going to be pushing out there, really getting out to the public. And we're also going to be announcing in the next few weeks our new shareable playlists. We have a web version that's going to be coming out of NaviSavi. So then you can actually sign up online for NaviSavi. You can actually share your playlists. So if you put together your 20 favorite things to do in London or hot eats in Ibiza or whatever that might be, you can now start sharing that as a hyperlink that will link back to, and you can watch all that content directly. So it's really just going to open the floodgates for being able to share recommendations through videos and then being able to save and book those experiences directly. So that is what we are so excited by. So no longer are the days of going to Facebook groups or WhatsApp groups and saying, hey, I'm in Zurich for the weekend. What are some recommendations? So instead of 20 people throwing in different things, hopefully we can just put together a quick NaviSavi playlist and say, oh, here's what I did. I went to Lauterbrunnen, I did this, I ate at these places. And now you can visually see them, save them, and book that experience. So we are making some huge, huge gains here, and we have a ton of content creators, but we're still pay for content. I know it's not a ton, but $1 a video adds up, and you can upload up to 3 videos per location. We probably will be shifting a little bit too and running we did an all summer long competition last year for whoever posted the most videos. Cool. So we're going to be releasing something for this fall, a little bit of a different strategy, not for content, but for getting more users on board. So, and sharing content out to other platforms. Some exciting things coming. Last time we had a girl, Florine, she won 2 round trip tickets up to $2,000. And I think she's still running around on that vacation. I just saw she was in Ecuador and Panama. I was like, yeah, girl, like you go for it. So, yes, we basically send them on a vacation. And so that's what we're looking to do again here soon with NaviSavi and really getting more people on board. So
I'll be keeping an eye on that one for sure.
Yeah. So you can use a paid vacation, right?
Absolutely. When did you actually start NaviSavi?
It was called Check the Box Travel. It actually started as a TV show an idea that I had. I was traveling the world quite a bit alone, and I met this guy, Lewis, like one of my best travel buddies, like the equivalent of myself. Like we would help each other get laid, as I joke, but
each other.
So he and I traveled all over the world together, and we were sitting in Peru drinking pisco sours.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Getting drunk, as all good ideas start, getting drunk on pisco sours. And we said, you know what? Like, people are always asking us, like, how do I go do what you did? Because we're posting it on social media. We said, well, why don't we just create like a TV show that follows us around? And then we can create basically everywhere we went, we created packets originally, and we'd send the packets around of what hotel we stayed at, restaurants, like some of the big booking pieces. And so then we decided we'd create a web version of that. And it was called Check the Box Travel. And we showed you how to go do, it was short videos that you could save and book. And that was in 2013. I had that original idea, and we shot a pilot in Costa Rica. And we ended up pitching it for about the next 2 or 3 years to Travel Channel and a bunch of people. And they basically said, oh, well, you're not Insta famous enough. And, like we were two nobodies, which we knew, but I was like, yeah, but our personality makes up for it. Trust me. These two hot men going out there, and it's like, you could be at a museum one moment and then you could be taking a shot of tequila. Like that was pretty much the story of our travel life. So so didn't work out. And I ended up pivoting it into an app around 2017, 18 and putting some money behind the research and development, and really kind of had a prototype ready to roll. In 18, 19, I went out and did some fundraising, friends and family around, and built my first MVP and was supposed to launch April 1st, 2020. And the April Fool's joke on me. And I didn't get it launched. And all things worked out as is. And we ended up rebuilding the app and then getting a bunch of influencers on board in which they were sitting on content that they couldn't monetize. So everything really kind of just worked out as it was meant to be, I think. But it's now we've been out in the market a little over a year, and with 30,000 bookable videos, we've got a good over 2,500 influencers on the app, and we're getting ready to really press play on the marketing behind that to onboard a shit ton of users. And it's kind of a chicken or the egg product. It's like you had to have the content before you could get users on board. So we probably would have initiated this a little sooner, but we've been busy and fundraising and doing everything else. And
along with the pandemic.
Meta came up, and along with the pandemic. So, and I was still working another job, and, when you got time to do it. So that's the story of my life right now.
That's an amazing story. I absolutely love that. Because I feel like, obviously we met briefly in November, and then like from where you were at in November, back like to here now where you are, it's like your acceleration has just gone, whoop, like it's wild and it's amazing.
It's been a wild ride, let me tell you, but nothing I do is normal. So that's
perfect. Absolutely perfect. So do you have any locations you're specifically targeting next with the content on the app, or like any, let's answer that question first.
So we've been working with some key partnerships. Obviously, Croatia was one of our partners, working with kind of their board of tourism and really trying to get as much content as we could while we're running around Croatia. And we're still always looking for great Croatia content. We love that. We love Croatia and all the people in that community. So we're highly active there. We're doing a lot of work in Chicago and working with a lot of their concierge associations and some good stuff. So we have a few things in our back pocket. But I'd say right now, our main focus, as we especially go into fall, you don't see some of those destinations that you would normally see in summer travel. So we're hyper-focused right now on digital nomad hotspots. So I know Tirana's got a digital nomad event coming up here, I believe in September. There's a lot of different things kind of happening. And, I know there was a big one even just in Bulgaria recently. So we're kind of like targeting these places in which digital nomads are going to be present, or if you're part of like the Wi-Fi tribe, or if you're Hacker's Paradise and you're living in a location for a month, let us know. What we do is we usually double all your points if you're in a location for a month. So and then we also give you some recommendations.
Cool.
We put together a hot city list. So what we do is we aggregate the top things to do in a city based on eat, sleep, play, explore, blah, blah, blah. So we'll already kind of give you a pre-made list of like, hey, here's the top things that everyone's recommending. And then we work with locals as well. So we've got contributors all over the world, and having local people shoot content for us is just as good as having a digital nomad and a content creator. So we see everyone as a creator.
That's so fun. Like, so is there anything that kind of, obviously that's amazing that you obviously get local people involved too, because I feel like there's so much sort of worry around having to be either specific kind of creator, or like, you have to have a specific type of skill or experience. Like, is there any specific content that people should be thinking about, or is it literally like any part of like your town that you're happy to recommend?
Well, I'd like to say, Of course, we always have these like dodgy people that try to upload everything onto NaviSavi. But we have people that verify every clip. Like that's kind of the whole point. And that's what separates us from everybody else is, if you go to Instagram Reels, you can see in one reel 10 hot spots for Barcelona. Well, now I've got to go write all those things down and save them somewhere and then Google them how to get there. But with NaviSavi, we basically create each recommendation as its own element, you could say. That way you have all the information packaged into a bite right there in which you say, all right, I want to go to this restaurant. All right, here's the information. Find it directly. It's easy access. You can book it directly through NaviSavi, and you can get there on the map directly as well. Mm-hmm. So we work in location and before you even go to a destination. So I'd say the content we're looking for the most is, would you recommend this to your friend? And I think that's the question that people have to ask themselves. And are you actually doing the experience or showing somebody doing the experience? Because sometimes we have people like literally go by in a car and like try to record a restaurant. We're like, if Google Maps can give it to us, like we don't need your shit. We want to see the authenticity of someone enjoying that meal or the vibe of the location. Or if it's river rafting, like we want to see that experience, or even sometimes the guides that make it, what it is for the experience. So I'd say, we said, if you only had a friend in town for 24 hours or 48 hours, what would be the top places you would take them, things you would do, local hotspots, like we kind of want that like vibe to it. Obviously is nomads get to stay in destinations longer. They can recommend more things, which is great. And we really want to make NaviSavi as that kind of hub for sharing recommendations through videos. So that way you can start seeing and saving and booking and sharing. So all within one platform. And you get paid to do it. So it's like, it's a no-brainer. Come on, people. Like, how much is Instagram paying you?
I mean, do you have a favorite hotspot that you've seen on NaviSavi for yourself?
All right. One place that I've been watching, there's a guy from Guyana who uploads. Oh my gosh, I love this guy. Like he's always posting. He's such a character. And I'm like, I never thought about going to Guyana, but I am totally going now. Like, there's like some of these amazing experiences. And somebody uploaded something from Colombia the other day, and it was some mud thing. And I was like, I was there. And why did I not even know that was, it was kind of like the backpacker's secret of like people, they kind of say, oh, you should go do this or go do this trail or this hike. Or when you go to Minka, there's this one hostel that you have to stay at that has these incredible views, but it's like, you wouldn't know that unless you were in the scene. You wouldn't just find that one hostel that everybody's recommending. I think you have to join those specific communities in order to know about that individually. But with NaviSavi, you can kind of just see the cream of the crop that everyone's recommending and everybody's kind of going to, or the offbeat local places that everybody enjoys. So that's kind of the benefit, at least. You don't have to we do all the searching for you, so you don't have to.
That's so good. Yeah, the amount of times I have been sat on the NaviSavi app and been like, oh, what? Like, the water's that blue? Oh my God, what? Or just the views are insane, or whatever it happens to be.
Yes. I'm probably the worst person because I have about 10,000 videos in my phone, but I'm like so busy just recording that I never stop. Like, I never stop and go home to say, I'm going to record this next video. I'm just always going. So my team is always yelling at me like, Sally, you've got to upload all this shit that you have on your phone. I'm like, I know. It's because I probably don't pay myself for it. So there's the incentive for me. No. I should start paying myself $1 for it.
We want to see it.
I know. And some of the content that's up there, it's like, holy shit. Like my dad would be like, get off the internet, kid. But is that what you're really doing in your time?
Maybe you should give yourself a pisco sour for every 3 videos you put up or something. How about that instead?
Unfortunately, I drink the equivalent that I would make anyway on NaviSavi. Yeah. So it's not tax deductible. I keep it off. No, company would be broke if I did that.
Do you have any advice for a remote business owner about working with investors or crowdfunding money?
So yes and no. I kind of done a bit different process. Like my first one was really a friends and family raise. And I kind of just went strategically to people that, in my case, I kind of went to people that I knew that had an interest in what I was doing. that also it wasn't going to break their bank, I guess. I didn't want to have that guilt. And the money that I did take on at times, I thought if this all goes shitty, I could actually pay everybody back. Like that was kind of in the back of my head, like when I first took on the cash in the first time, like if I, didn't prove myself. But and then I've kind of gotten into the second round in which we were past the friends and family round. So now we're really going after kind of our next, you could call it a pre-seed or seed round, which we're really looking in like the $1 to $2 million amount. So we're really going after that next big raise. We've got a couple angel investors that have been floating around, which if that all comes together, I guess, and not falls apart, I should say, that would be a really massive step for our company. But I'm currently in the fundraising stage now and approached by even leaders, and there's a lot of different ways. But, for me, I'm an excellent networker. So I basically reach out to anyone and everyone and say, hey, pass this along. One thing I do suggest, if you know that you're good at pitching, I recorded a little video in which I send with an email. So then people get an idea of who I am and my passion for my project and, kind of what NaviSavi is all about before just a cold intro email. So that's, little hints like that. And then be smart about who the fund is targeting. If they're interested in female founders, go after them. But if they're in crypto or health tech, why even waste your time? Like and if the companies don't look at pre-revenue or they need to have revenue, like those are kind of the things that's like, why are you wasting your time just sending emails to everybody? So I'd say put together a comprehensive list that you feel good about and then really start targeting those people. And if people are really dragging their feet, move on. Like it's not worth it. All of my investors have basically said yes within the first 1 or 2 meetings. They're like, I'm interested. Yeah. So, go with your gut because some people will just lead you on forever. So they're like men, you got to just, not interested. Bye-bye. And then when they all see that you're doing well and you got meta now and they try to come back like, we're looking for a higher price round now. So thanks. But
I love that. It's amazing. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's brilliant. I love that. Do you have any other advice for also like running or scaling a remote business in general as well?
Well, good and bad of that. I mean, when I was at the record label, I ran a remote team for the most part. They were in the office, but I give as much trust and assume everything's getting done unless I find out it's not. And when I find out it's not, that's when I basically put the push on shit. Like, it's like I have to trust my team and I have to trust that you make the right decisions, you're putting in the right hours and time, and nobody's going to have as much passion for your project as you do. Like I work Saturdays and Sundays because I need to, I have to. But I understand also like the people that oversee my content, my social media team, social media never sleeps. And so I don't expect my gal to be working 8 hours a day on, I know that she's putting in time on Saturdays and Sundays and replying to people. And so, yeah, I'm pretty lenient. All my team is 100% remote, and I actually hired everybody that exact way. So we're pretty, try to keep on having our UK team and the New York team, for the most part, always having meetings at 4:00 here, which is 10:00 there, or trying to keep some meetings that are solidified. At one point, we had like 25 interns from San Fran to we had a guy in Manila. It was like he was getting up in the middle of the night, but it's like, if you want to be a part of this project and this opportunity, that's kind of what it takes. So, but yeah, it's a fun ride. And I'd say you got to trust your team, but the second they're not delivering, you got to find somebody new. So when they break that trust, it's out.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, really good advice, I think. And is there any how did you know when to start outsourcing? Apart from obviously, I'm assuming you don't really have a big coding background, but when did you know that you needed to start outsourcing certain tasks?
So basically, when I decide if I'm going to outsource something or not, at my previous role, I was a music video director and I would come up with commercial concepts and tour concepts. So basically, I had a vision in my head in which I needed to execute out into teams, whether that was the choreographer, whether that was the lighting and crew or the wardrobe. really to make it all come together in a 30-second spot or a 3-minute video or a complete tour and have that throughout the whole thread. Mm-hmm. So when I built NaviSavi, I had the initial concept in my head. And I really just said, I kind of wrote out as much frameworking as I could just with my terrible chicken scratch and tried to take it to somebody. And that was really probably the toughest part, was knowing who to trust as developers when I knew nothing about what that language was about. I come from the video side, the entertainment world, nothing about technology, nor I'm a traveler, but I'm not at all from the travel industry. So those were two whole new fields I felt like I've had to really get in and learn. But it's definitely been a fun ride to be a female that has no technical background. And, the team that I had in New York originally, they did a very good job for a couple of years, but I felt like I needed to start moving into a team that I kind of had trust in, like fully, I guess, in terms of people I'd known for 12 years. And they were also retraining. So I felt very confident and comfortable about people that really had my back all the way through. So those were the things that I decided to outsource. And I figure a skill is as much time as it invests in you. So if I'm going to be investing, $10 an hour, $20 an hour, that's going to have to come from either my paycheck or the company's paycheck. So where is my time value better? And as a CEO, that is also one of the most incredibly hard things to do, is managing the company. Or I'm good at marketing, so should I do all the marketing, or do I need to outsource that so I can spend time fundraising? So those are the kind of things that I notice I really have to work on. So
I think that's so true. There's a phrase that I heard about back in April on a conference, and she said, I have to look at how I can get back to creating. And I was like, that's revolutionary in my mind. Like, how do I get back to creating the thing that I'm best at? So, she would outsource her admin, her planning, her accounts, her partnership deals. She would outsource all that work to someone else because she was like, I need to get back to creating my personal brand of 1 million followers on Instagram, whatever it was. So that sounds kind of similar. It's just thinking about, okay, what am I good? I know I can do it all, but what's going to save me time and give me back time to do what I'm best at?
Exactly. Time management. Exactly.
I was actually thinking about this as well. You mentioned about being obviously a female CEO in the tech space. Do you have any advice specifically on that? Because I feel like that's still a minority at the end of the day. So do you have any advice from that perspective?
Well, I guess for me, I think the two biggest things was, it's hard to be a woman, and especially a sole female founder, because so many people feel like, females are way under invested in, first and foremost, and then in a field in which you have no experience in. For me, it was really about coming in, learning as much as you can, and being a ball buster. I'm sorry, but you have to walk in and know your shit and have people that trust that either you're not always the smartest person in the room, but you know how to find those people to support you. And that's what I've told, it's like, this is not in my background. It's not in my wheelhouse, but I have found really good people that can come behind me. 2 of them are contract workers, and David Pears is my CTO. So, it makes it easy. And I've got they never let the lights go out on NaviSavi. So, it's great to have that kind of support and family behind me on the tech side. And that was a reason I moved over to them too, is, I really found a good team I could trust, and they weren't sitting there, trying to rack up hours or build something in the wrong direction. And, they gave me honest feedback on stuff. I think finding some people that you trust and asking around for multiple recommendations and doing quick tests with people. Because if you don't have a good tech team that will sit and explain to you what the process is, they try to pull the wool over your eyes sometimes, I've noticed. And I've had that happen to me. I'm like, oh, well, you'll need to do this first. And we rebuilt in this and that, blah, 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 blah. On a couple of the calls I had with the previous developer team, I brought in 2 other developer friends just to listen on the call. So it was like, yeah, you want to try and bamboozle me? Well, I might not know, but I have 2 other people that are willing to listen on this call. Yeah, go ahead and try and run me in circles. So,
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a huge part of it is finding those contacts and friends that you do trust to have your back in and believe in what you're doing, for sure. For anyone who is maybe thinking like, oh my gosh, but I don't know if I've got that in my, that circle, would you have any recommendations for where they can maybe reach out to people at all?
there's plenty of good groups out there for like fierce founders, soul female founders. If you're female, there's so many communities about, looking for people to kind of join your team or, to really drive that. There's a company that I'm part of, like Entrepreneur, and they're great for connecting people in those kind of scenarios too. So yeah, there's always a community group. I'd hate to say that for things, but also if you're going to be a CEO, you have to have a leader on the team. Like I've seen 5 developers creating an app, which I know about, or you have a female like me that, has this side of things, but not the other. And people really look at the entire team that you bring to the table. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's finding the right people that mesh with you and just joining communities, going to, now that you can go networking in person, for a lot of finding those people and getting yourself in those communities. So if you're going after developers or you're looking for, who knows, data people or whatever you need to support your team, really start to get involved in those communities and basically start dating. So I basically quit dating when I started the app because I'm just dating and talking to people constantly for just by the time I get done, I'm just like, oh, don't want to meet any more new people. That, me, that never stops. So
life is a constant meetup. Love it.
No, but you've always got to be hustling. And, even when I sit at a hotel here, I was in a taxi cab. I saw this guy in Croatia when I was in the taxi. He was like, oh, well, what is this app? And I said, yeah, for every person you refer, I get $1. I'll give you $1. So he took the QR code, put it on his Uber taxi car and said, all right, every person that gets in the car, I'm going to have them download NaviSavi. This man's making bank, like a no-brainer, So
smart dude.
You've always got to be hustling. And, that's how I've met a lot of just people, even in communities, and you never know. So,
yeah. My favorite was still finding that NaviSavi pop socket stuck on a side of like a bench on Lockram Island that one time. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. So if you go to the airport in Amsterdam, it's like a 2-hour wait to get in through the security line. So I've smacked a NaviSavi sticker while people are in the queue. So, amazing. I mean, how many thousands of people walk through every day? And I was like, every day I'm hustling. So, you've got to always think about your company first. So.
I love that. That's so good. Amazing. Is there anything you wish you had known before starting a remote business? Not necessarily a tech business, but a remote business.
Not everyone's going to have your best interest at heart. Unfortunately, I'm very much a very trusting person. I'll give you all my trust, all my support until you break that. And I think for me, sometimes I hang on too long to people when I should have just said next, because you have to have a great rapport and relationship with people if you're working remote, because you have to have that communication is absolute key. Whether it's just quickly one of my gals, I just slack her here and there. I don't need a meeting with her every day about certain things. As long as we're just in kind of quick, constant communication, we do set up some time to chit chat here and there and kind of get regrouped and refocused. But, at the end of the day, I think that's probably the hardest thing is being able to have that trust in your team. And when you feel like you're not getting it and you're not getting the output that you would expect, having a real conversation up and first and foremost. And if you're still not getting results, move on, because it's not going to change. It's not going to get better. You learn a lot about people and their work ethic when you work remotely. So
it's true.
I don't care if you don't work 8 hours a day, but if I say something needs to be done by tomorrow, I need it done by tomorrow. Or if it needs to be done by the end of the week, that's when I have an issue. I don't care if it took you 2 hours, or 10 hours, it needs to be done. So I think it's also a lot of, learning about people's personal time management, how well they work. So, and that's why I feel very confident with my tech team and, a lot of the people that I have surrounding me now. So
I think there's a lot to be said also in knowing about, how people work smart, not hard. And I feel like when it comes to remote, working smart, not hard is a huge part of it.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I do too. It's like people did you even how many hours did you work today? You worked like 6, 8 or 8 hours, 6 or 8. And I was like, I don't know. I don't sit down and calculate it. Like I just sat in the hotel the other day from 3 o'clock till midnight and I banged out as much as I needed. I got through all my emails back to June. And so if you're not just getting emails, I'm apologizing. But, it was like, I'm going to feel caught up. And now I can do my next chunk. And now that's caught up. Now I can focus on, I need to put through a couple contracts, and then I need to put through a couple investor pitches. And so, it's kind of these like stages for me of just work hard, play hard, knock stuff out, because I also have to be in the mindset for writing a newsletter. Like I can't just, casually look through a contract that's 18 pages. It's like, I need to be in the right frame of mind. I got to feel good. I've got to like have my coffee, zoned out, quiet. Like those are the kind of things I need. I'm a very picky worker.
No, I love it. Honestly, every time like we chat or like, I hear about what you're up to, I'm like, you're so inspiring. I'm sat and just kind of like, wow, like that emoji with the like star eyes. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. That was me at Tomorrowland, me and the star eyes.
Amazing. Where can we find you, Sally? I mean, obviously, like hopefully you'll be in London next week. Where can we find you in the business next?
Well, me and the business and I next. I think, obviously once we get this next big raise and round closed, I really think you're gonna see two different things. You're going to see us be building a brand new product, working with a product gal that we got out of the UK, who's amazing. Really just hammering that out and talking to each of our users about what they like, what they don't like, what they want out of NaviSavi, and really getting that product market fit. And also as it pertains to not just everyday users, but influencers who are uploading, if they're uploading mass videos, to the businesses. We really want to make a Shopify for travel. Cool. So every small business has an opportunity to upload a UGC video in which they can sell their business on their platform. So, and really trying to cut out a lot of the big OTA middlemen, having those kind of personal relationships and going local. And, obviously I'm not going to say no to the Marriott to put their properties up, but, we want the mom and pop next door or some of these hostels to have the exact same look and feel to their videos, because money shouldn't matter of how much money you have. It's about the experience. So I think that's really what we're going to be honing in on. Yeah, for the most part. And then you'll really be seeing us going after a push, I think, obviously with sharing our video content out to new platforms, the playlist, and you'll be seeing a uptick in users here coming up too. I think we're finally to a good spot in which we have some new map and discover features that we'll be releasing in the next couple of weeks. And so there's a lot of big changes that are going to be coming. So if you haven't been on the app in a while, re-download the app. Make sure you put in the update, because if you haven't done the update, you won't see everything. But if you only checked us out a year ago, we've grown in leaps and bounds. So it's only going to get better. So
that's so exciting. I'm now like, wait, do I need to check my app now? That's really amazing. So lots of things to come. I'm excited for you guys. Well, you and your team. That's so amazing. One last thing. Home, fill in the blank. Home is where blank is.
Where your Wi-Fi automatically connects.
I love that. Amazing. Sally, it's been absolutely a pleasure, as always, to chat. And yeah, I'm so excited to see where NaviSavi go and you go next.
Where to next? That's what we say. So thank you so much for having me on. And obviously, we've been talking about doing this for a while, and I'm glad it all materialized. And I can't wait to see you in person too. So
same. All right, go. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Remote Life. And thank you, Sally, for taking the time to speak with us. You can find links to NaviSavi below. Thank you so much again for listening, and we can't wait to remote work with you again soon.